Hello, everyone. Welcome to Motor India's Trans Report. Today with us is Mr. Rishi Agarwal, who is the Managing Director of JCBL, as well as we have Mr. Sanjeev Babbar, who is also from JCBL. And as you know, JCBL does not need any introduction in the Indian commercial vehicle industry. For more than 30 years, the company is in the forefront of bus bodybuilding, as well as customization of premium coaches, motorhomes, special application vehicles, as well as even armored vehicles for civilian and defense purposes. Now, that's one part of the story. The other part is the load carrier solutions. The company is an ace in offering innovative and customized load body solutions for trucks, which includes tipper bodies, trailer bodies, and even petroleum tankers that the company has added since in the last couple of years. So we welcome the team JCBL for this exclusive interaction. Thank you, Mr. Rishi sir and Sanjeev sir for joining this interaction.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
So let me start with right. So let me start with a very popular question that all of us have been pondering is the COVID-19 pandemic. So we have seen that the automotive industry is facing a huge and a plethora of disruptions in ways one can not even imagine. So how is JCBL coping up with those disruptions, and what is the status right now at JCBL? What about your manufacturing as well as sales processes happening right now, and what are the key priorities at this time?
I think COVID came at a very wrong time. Last year, 2019, was a disaster when it comes to commercial vehicle and the economy. Right. And on top of that, COVID just makes 2019 look better. I can just say that. COVID, something like that. So, but so yes, JCBL also, we have our share of problems with that. So when we went for lockdown, if you realize that JCBL's North practically is the major businesses school bus. And we were at the peak of school bus season when this happened. And right. Now with the schools not opening, schools don't want school buses. They will, once they open, then they might be a requirement. So it came at, let's say, COVID came when economy was already low, and plus there was a shift from Euro 4 to Euro 6 happening. And that would have raised the prices of the vehicles, also lowering the demand further. So for us, the first question was survivability, to understand how we will survive this. How do we run our cash flows? How do we take care of our internal family members, the JCBL family, and how do we take care of our customers? So that's what happened. So we as a design team got together during lockdown. I want to tell you that during lockdown, most of us, in fact, Sanjeev would say that we were on Zoom calls for 5 hours discussing different options, what we can do with the company, what are other products that we can develop. And the day one when the lockdown got over, we started getting some permissions to reach the plant. The R&D was the first on the ground to start working on different areas that we need to work towards, different products that we want to develop. And as a result, we have developed an array of products which can be used during this tough times and can be of support. I will let Sanjeev take the passenger or side of it, and then I will probably come to the next point.
Right. Mr. Sanjeev, what are your primary takeaways and key impressions from this pandemic?
Yeah, as Yoshi ji shared with us, these are very unprecedented times, and we've really seen the worst of it as of now. But the best part is the team is ramping up as of now, and we have started from virtually from the restart button. We started our operations on 2nd of May. Full April was under lockdown. And fortunately, we had a spillover of close to maybe 150-200 vehicles, BS6 vehicles, which we got from one of our OE partners for doing buses. So that spillover, we took around 45 to 50 days to complete that backlog. And then there were various inquiries from the health department as well as other customers who wanted support in terms of ambulances and other mobile hospitals and special application vehicles, COVID vans. Understanding the customer requirement and basically involving the design team to design the product, their requirement was one of the challenges because there was a complete lockdown and shutdown, and designing and managing the equipment for especially life support ambulance was the trickiest part. So somehow the team was in place and we got support of our suppliers also, as well as direction from OEMs. And we had developed advanced life support ambulance for the COVID in a record time of around 40 days. And by the time we had order in hand through SML Isuzu for supply of good about around 75 ambulances to the Punjab Health Department. So as of now, there is a good pipeline as far as ambulances and other health support mobility solutions are concerned. At current level, we are operating at almost 30% of our installed capacity. And fortunately, two applications we have. One is regarding the healthcare, and second is so. Have you seen? You're able to hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You were saying about two applications. Yeah.
Yeah, two applications. Yeah, which has actually supported us in difficult times. Since school bus is essentially our almost 60% of the business what we do in JCBL. So the visibility of the business is not foreseen even for the next 4-5 months. But we are getting inquiries, and there are a few contracts which are getting renewed for supply of ambulances through OEMs for defense application. So next 3 to 4 months down the line, whatever business we are going to lose on account of maybe the standard business for OEMs for school and staff buses. So that is going to be replaced by special application ambulances for maybe the civil hospitals as well as customers, as well as the defense application also.
Okay, right. So yes, sir, go ahead.
Yeah, apart from this, government also is coming in the buying mode as of now. So there are various STUs which are coming out with fully built up solutions. Maybe application evolved around a sleeper coach with social distancing norms, as well as intercity application also. So almost like CTU, Chandigarh Transport Undertaking, Orissa, Himachal, Haryana. So almost 4 OEMs have come out with their requirement of close to maybe around 700 vehicles as of now. So we are in touch with those STUs also, as well as working out with the OEMs who are going to supply the vehicle as a fully built up vehicle. So since right, Rishi said that the timing was very wrong. There was a transition stage from PS4 to PS6, and all the OEMs and including us also were in the phase of developing the products, entering into homologation process, getting necessary approvals and validation. So even today also we are in a catch-9 situation only, because one is quoting in the tender, and the second is getting the required approvals based on the tender requirement, because regulatories are very strong as of now. So since that is the challenge as of now, wherein it is the time-bound execution, and we need to develop a prototype, get the homologation done, and enter into a series production for the STU also. Okay. But I think all said and done, pipeline is visible, and I hope that at least maybe third quarter we come to around 40 to 45% of our installed capacity, and maybe fourth quarter if the schools there's a demand for school buses and all. So I think then we should touch around 70-75% of the installed capacity in quarter 4.
Okay, right. Although we see that there are new applications that are in demand right now, it is a no match for the demand that existed in a normal time, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
Right. Okay. And how do you see
whatever products we are doing?
Yeah. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. See, whatever we are doing as of now, it is actually a special application. It is not a routine production what we were doing earlier. So it is almost a different set of requirement and different type of skill set also, as well as the supply chain requirement is also very stringent, and like all approvals are required basically. Even for an ambulance, there are approved sources through which you need to procure the parts. It is not that if it's like a collapsible type T stretcher, so there are suppliers who are going to supply those. Okay. Especially medical equipments also, because some ambulances we need to procure the medical equipment also on behalf of the customers also. So it is a combination of maybe getting the right equipment and material in time also, and delivering as per the customer requirement. So that is what we foresee. But anyway, since see, JCBL has the strength, that is the only reason why such a tough time still we are continuing with at least 35-40% of the operation. The reason being that the company has a strength of building a platform around the customer requirement. Okay, and maybe then entering into the entire SOP of manufacturing, homologation, and all. So that strength ultimately is helping us in this tough times.
So I will say we identified two areas for our growth, or for our survival is the right word, not growth. One was to ramp up our ability to make special application vehicles and ramp up our R&D to ensure that we develop a range of ambulances, mortuary vans, COVID ambulances, mobile testing labs for COVID testing. That's one area that we worked on. Second area, we realized that with the government's support towards infrastructure push, there would be a demand for tippers and trailers and petroleum tankers, which will come in. So idea was to redesign the product looking at the Euro 6, because we had lost a lot of months during lockdown. So idea was to redesign the tippers, petroleum tankers to the new OEM chassis that were coming in, and getting them homologated as fast as possible, so that we can be in business. That was the second area. Like one of the product was that mobile dispensing unit for petroleum tankers, which is the new thing that is coming up. Idea when we saw that, automatically designing it, developing it, and then taking it to the people, that we have a product that was. And third idea was that wherever we can get business from the government, whether it's STOs, whether it's health departments, whether Ministry of Defense, like we are talking about a bulk order from Ministry of Defense for ambulances. So these were the areas that we felt can help us survive. I'm again saying it's not about growth, it's about survivability right now. It's about running your cycle and ensuring that we are there when the better wave comes in.
Right. Okay. And what about the scenario in load carrier vertical for tracking applications?
So that's what I was saying. In load carrier, we realized that infrastructure push is going to be the first thing.
Right.
So the tippers would be the first thing that will come in demand. So,
okay.
So we immediately started developing or calibrating our body design to the new chassis that were coming in. And also there was a demand, we foresee a demand for petroleum tankers and mobile dispensing units of petroleum. So aligning to that, there are a couple of two more products under pipeline, but we still at a nascent stage. I would not like to talk about them. So idea was to calibrate our range to suit the today's times. So today I do not expect probably a container to do as well, containerized truck to do as well. So idea is to calibrate a tipper line on that. So things like that. So if you look at today, our plant in South again is working at about 30% capacity, 30-35% capacity. North, we have some orders in pipeline, again 25% to the peak. You have to also understand that JCBL is one of the largest application builders in the country, and our capacity is to do almost 15,000 applications a year. And as a result, to feed that kind of a capacity is a huge task in an economy like this or in a situation like this.
Right.
So the question is to keep the ball moving, keep the cycle running.
Okay, right. And considering that many OEMs are also trying to diversify their business in export markets, and are there any scopes for or any different scenario for JCBL in that regard?
Yeah, I'll just answer this question. We are currently working with two different OEMs for three different projects. Okay, especially SAARC countries, and practically wherein they can push, they can still push the BS4 emission norms because due to the sudden change, so some OEMs are still carrying the inventories. So what they want is that at least the BS4 can be exported, and they have the capacity as well as the parts also to do that. So even SAARC countries and even African countries also, there is a demand for passenger application also, as well as the goods application also. So that is one area. I think as of now, we're going to start the prototype maybe next 2 months. But yeah, the focus has shifted of OEMs for exports also, and that is one area wherein they really want to encash and see that facilities ultimately are utilized for the spare capacity what they have as well.
Okay, right. Now, and another major problem with this pandemic is that it has created huge disruptions in terms of demand and supply chain for the automotive industry, which includes OEMs as well as customized solution providers like JCBL. Now, in terms of sourcing key components like steel and many other plastic components, interior trims and everything, are there any problems with regard to like imports of products, or what is the localization level that exists in JCBL right now, and is there any change in that regard with the times to come?
So JCBL is actually very vertically integrated. And I want to tell you that our backward integration strategy is very good. We have a sister company called Mobility Solutions Limited, which makes most of the components, and JCBL I think and gives only a part of it to JCBL. So they have their own line of business that they do. So we don't see a challenge there, because all our what we buy basically is basic raw materials. We have very few, and most of the vendors that we have are around us. We have been able to develop the vendor base around us. So I do not see a major challenge there. There are small hiccups here and there. I remember when the plant started, we were stuck with some paint, and the warehouse was shut down. We had to find somebody to get the warehouse open. I'm saying those are small logistic glitches, but no, that's not a very serious challenge that we see right now.
Okay, right. And so we understand that this pandemic is going to stay here for a while, right? So which means this financial year is going to be more or less the same, right? So when do you see bounce the demand from the private consumption, like the private buyers coming back again? Like, are there any clarity in that regard right now, or you feel like it's all bleak even now?
So we'll have to go segment by segment, because you have to understand JCBL caters to a very wide segment, and it's school buses to luxury coaches to ambulances to tippers, tip trailers, where we cater construction industry, to petroleum tankers, to containerized cargo for e-movement. So I'm just saying every segment will come back at its own pace. We expect once the schools open, which I do not see them opening this financial or maybe post Diwali sometime, there will be a demand for school buses that will come in, because that's a gap. Last year also the buying was low. This year there has been no buying. So we expect school bus segment to bounce back once. Containerized cargo, we feel will see a better year this year. Not as good as last year, but we'll see a better year, because this home delivery has really picked up. Amazon and e-retailers are looking at tippers. We feel would be a very good year because of the government policies on mines being privatized, and also road constructions picking up pace. Where we feel market will be hit and will take a lot of time to come back is the luxury buses, especially the tourist segment, where you don't expect foreign tourists to hop in on a plane and come to India any sooner. So that's a market. Ambulance would be so. On the whole, if you look at there are some misses and there are some hits for the group. What will actually save us is our huge portfolio and the variants that we handle. We expect this year we will end maybe 20% lower to last year, not a lot. Okay. Maybe 20-25% lower to last year. Okay. On the cargo side, we expect to do better than last year.
Okay, right. And we understand that this pandemic is also, kind of creating a decentralized scenario, wherein like every states have announced lockdowns, and there is a problem with interstate movements. And a lot of cities, including metros like Chennai and Mumbai, are still under almost of a
Yeah.
lockdown kind of scenario. So in that regard, now the market, we understand that your products or your manufacturing facilities are existing in the two, like end of the region. So
Yeah.
are there any problems in that regard, even to ship your fully customized products, even where the customer is ready to get their product ready, or but that has to be brought to different parts or something? So are there any new challenges like that that JCBL is
Challenges
facing?
are very dynamic. Yeah. I'm sorry. Challenges are very dynamic.
Yes.
I'll take let Baba take the second part of
Yes,
it.
sir.
But the challenges are very dynamic. Every day you wake up with a new problem. And today Chennai is shut down. Today it's up. It's again open, but these districts are closed. The challenges are very, very dynamic in nature. It's not a quiet morning ever. And but we have to adapt to it. And Babbar is doing it in his way. Let's listen to him now.
Okay.
The biggest challenge today is the chassis moment. Okay, OEMs are the worst affected, and since the transition already happened, there are a lot many electronic parts in a BS6 vehicle which were coming from China. Okay, so OEMs are still not able to produce the chassis, the basic platform. Even if you have a business feasibility, even there is a tender, still you're not very sure when you're going to get the chassis. Okay? Because there is a lockdown, and if you take all major industrial areas like Pune, Maharashtra, then you take Ahmedabad, okay, so these are the area wherein there is maybe a partial shutdown or a full shutdown, and OEMs are not able to get their parts and not able to produce chassis as per the current requirement also. And second is the lockdowns in various states. So transportation against the logistics is also very badly affected. So the only advantage what we have is that, okay, since we are sitting in Punjab, we have a local OEM here, SML Isuzu, so that we are only able to cater to their requirement as of now. But other businesses, what we used to get from Ashok Leyland and Tata Motors, even today, like Ashok Leyland, Chennai is shut down. BharatBenz ultimately is also located in Chennai. So whatever orders we had from them, even supplying chassis against those orders is a big challenge today. Okay, so that is the biggest challenge. We are not directly affected, maybe due to the supply chain issues, but we are indirectly affected because if you do not get the chassis in time, there are a few exports ordered for Nepal also. There is a penalty clause, and even today the chassis are lying produced, but they are not able to transport those vehicles. So this is one area which actually till the entire logistics is restored, and the supply chain ultimately is restored for the OEMs also. So we'll definitely be affected maybe in next 2-3 months also. Something.
And another the context is that the commercial vehicle industry, starting from mid 2018 onwards, was facing serious issues of subdued demand. Now that started in the bus industry, and then it went into truck industry as well. So if we see the last quarter of the last financial year, the numbers were pretty low. So now, considering that this pandemic is also creating more pressure on the fleets as well as the customers as well. Now, do you think that this current subdued demand scenario is going to be the new normal? And then we have to adapt to make sure that if we are looking at, say, multiple numbers, now we have to look more on certain specified numbers so that we have certain, revenue in place. And how is that dynamics work? Because it's not going to be the same as the previous year. Even 2019 was not that great, as you mentioned, right? So.
Yep. So 2019 was a bad year, we all know, and 2020 became even worse.
Right.
So that's the reason, we can't even look at JCBL, we can't even think about absorbing our 15,000 application a year capacity. We have to looking at skimming the market to what we get, and we can't be choosy right now. That's why we are developing products like ambulances, I told you, COVID vans and mobile testing labs, because that's the way the demand is going to be. And to say that we will make 15,000 applications is a distant dream, I think. maybe 22 would be a year where we can rethink about capacities bouncing back to those levels. But idea is to survive and keep the cash flows positive, doing whatever we get in the plate. So that's the, I think it's the new normal right now for this year. And I hope this normal changes to a better normal. So worst case scenario, people say 2021 end or 21 Diwali. The best case scenario, this Diwali things will start moving, and let's hope it's this Diwali. Yeah. That's all I can say, because none of us can predict it.
Right. What about fleet utilization level? Now we understand that only 40 to 50% of the fleets are running as of now, and the remaining are still, idle. So
even less. Even less.
It is not even 20%.
Not even
20.
Okay.
It is not even 20%.
Fleet utilization is very low. You have to understand there was already a overcapacity built up due to axle load change and everything in the industry, which was not supported by a demand build-up. Demand build-up did not happen in 1920 when it became worse. So the fleet utilization is low, and I expect an even worse situation in August end when the moratorium for EMIs expire. So today, all the fleet operators are living in the hope that before moratorium expires, the workload will come in. If the workload does not come in and the moratorium starts hitting, we will have a lot of delinquencies all around, which will further hamper the industry. That's why I'm saying goods transport per se, or a point-to-point travel, or a tourist are the industry which will be, further off to recover. What will recover immediately is the way the demand is there currently. That's the construction, medical and healthcare, and
defense application.
Defense. So the demand's going to be.
Right. So even within those prospective segments also, is it the case that the institutional buyers will have more purchasing power rather than individual buyers, because they are anyway facing a lot of financial distress?
Or it is going to be all institutional or government buying. Okay, individual buyers. And see, in the current scenario, what government announced for the goods application, that carrying capacity is going to be enhanced by maybe 15% of the established capacity. There is a regulation now which says the same is being done for the passenger application also.
Okay.
So which would mean like for a 12-meter long chassis with the same aggregates, you can increase the wheelbase and bring it to 13.5 meters. Okay. Now that means with the same aggregates, maybe you have a better seating capacity. But the challenge is, again, you have to produce a chassis, go for the homologation, get an approval, and then start doing an application on that. So this is again going to be, okay, end of the day, maybe the benefit is going to come in the years to come. But today, if you say, again, it is a challenge. Entering into a new phase of BS6 vehicles, again going for a new chassis as per maybe the adequate requirement as per the regulatory norms, doing an application, and then finally this entire process takes about a year minimum.
Right.
Means even if the demand comes also, so the customer is definitely going to say, I want the upgraded chassis now. So you give me the upgraded vehicle along with all homologated requirements, which is going to still defer the ultimately purchasing.
Okay. But does this kind of a scenario give more advantage to fully built vehicles manufactured by OEMs rather than having it customized at, say, a place like JCBL for a car?
The government buying will always give opportunity to an OEM sale.
Okay.
Because fully built vehicles sale. And am I right, Babbar, when I'm saying this?
Sir, the reason is there is a different tariff for a fully built up vehicle. A fully built up vehicle being done by OEM attracts 28% GST. So there is a difference of 10% GST. Second, there is a regulatory requirement in terms of safety norms like FDSS. Okay, FDSS means fire suppression and detection and safety. So that single equipment is costing close to maybe 2 lakh rupees. And there are other regulatory requirements also, wherein there is a bounding on the government, by the government on a OE if he supplies the vehicle, so that has to be compliant. Okay, so for the OE, the cost goes up by maybe close to around 20%. If he is going to sell a chassis, okay, then ultimately he's able to save this cost. Maybe getting it done through a bodybuilder, or maybe entering into such a tri-party agreement with the STU that we finalize on a particular price, and there will be two invoices, and based on the regulatory requirement that okay, I do not want all this equipment to be fitted, so he gets a reduction on the price, and advantage goes to the STU. Okay, so that is why, and second thing is, one is the cost, and second is the manufacturing capability of a OEM, because whatever government tenders are coming, these are very specialized order. Okay, it is not a standard product. Even for STU, every STU has a different application, different requirement, and you have to have homologation. So OEM put together, even if they do 30% of the fully built up vehicle, these are all standard vehicles, maybe school application, staff application, but the demand is not there. So eventually OEM, even if they get the order, they have to work directly with their channel partners, okay, and see how do they get the business and execute the order. So this is the current situation, which is why OEMs are still more badly affected, because whatever capacities they have, even for producing an application, not even working at 10% of that capacity, or maybe there is a shutdown. But okay, if they are working along with their channel partners like a bodybuilder, okay, who is able to do an application based on the customer requirement and get the homologation done. So that is the area wherein at least they play their part, we play our part, and end of the day, jointly as a team, we are able to execute the order for the customer.
Right. All right. Yeah, the times are really challenging. It's quite unprecedented.
Yeah, it's very challenging.
The industry is facing this kind of, but always a test of time brings the best out of us, right? So we also believe that with the Indian automotive industry, and considering that there is also a localization push across industries, across verticals. So I guess if it all culminates for a best future, then I think that's the way to go. Thank you so much, Mr. Rishi sir and Sanjeev sir, for participating with us. Please do keep us posted on any new updates from JCBL. We'll be happy to bring that to the center stage of the Indian commercial vehicle industry. Thank you so much for participating, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.